Yeah, dude, it's been a while since we've done one of these.
Yeah, we'll blame it on summer vacation or something.
Yeah, I think that's believable. I'm sure our customers love our inconsistency. All right, let's start. Welcome to MindHyv, everybody. It's been a while since we've done one of these. We were on summer vacation. Sorry, it's been a bit, but we got a lot to go over on this podcast. Chad, you're here, but after this, roll the animation thing that we do.
Pause. All right, intro.
All right. Welcome, everybody, back to a podcast from MindHyv here. I'm Drew, and I've got with me Chad, and we've got a really long podcast to do today because we finally are able to kind of stop dancing around all the things that we've been doing and really talk about like the actual application itself and just a number of things that we've kind of not been saying over the past several months. So I'm excited. Chad, glad you're here, man.
No, it's great to be here. I want to make sure the viewers notice. Look at the MindHyv swag. We are moving along. No, it's great to be here. And, I think some of us did take a little bit of a vacation, but the team has really been working, and I'm excited to kind of go over everything because I think if people are interested in making money, they really might want to stick around for this one.
Yeah, I think that now that we can finally talk about it, I think this is good. I'm extremely excited about this. Yeah, man, let's get right on into it. So, what I wanted to do first is again, I think we've talked about it before, but I kind of want to go kind of over the history of MindHyv and then kind of dive into where we're at now, so that we kind of have like a timeline established. Um, does that sound good from like a marketing perspective, since you're the marketing guy?
No, I think so. I think letting people know the story is always a good thing. Let them know the where mine kind of came from and the ideas, and while we're solving the problems that we found when we were trying to use other tools. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll start from the very beginning then. So I met this dude who is our CEO, and he is the mysterious person that's never going to ever probably be on a podcast. His name is Derek, and I met him through my wife, and he and I kind of just hit it off. And he had this wonderful idea that he was talking about doing. And at the time, I wasn't doing any kind of business dealings or anything like that. I opened up other businesses and done other things in the past, but I was just kind of talking through this with him when we first met. And then we ended up kind of striking up a friendship and whatnot. And so eventually he asked for me to come help with this project he had going. And initially, this company was a completely different name with a completely different concept than what we're at now. Initially, it was going to be kind of just a freelancer marketplace that was combined with some other things that he had ideas for. And as we kind of talked through all of these things and spent, gosh, hours and hours and hours every night for like a year and a half, it just morphed. So we've seen people kind of come and go on the team as we've started this up, because this whole company started up. No one here, Chad, you know this. No one been paid. We're all doing this just purely out of passion and like the desire to make something like this work. And so when that's the case and starting something up, it's really difficult to maintain like team continuity and consistency, because not everybody always has the drive, and that's fine. I totally get that. But the team we have now was born because everybody on this team is completely passionate about what we're doing. So that was about 2 years ago. No, it was 2022, end of 2022, that this all happened, or all started, I mean. So we were about 3 years into this. And initially we went with some companies. We were trying to get some agencies to help us develop this, because we didn't have the expertise necessary to build out the entire platform. It was extremely complicated for what we're trying to do. And so that failed miserably. We lost a ton of money trying to get an agency to work on this. It was slow going. And I mean, I think all we got out of it was like a Figma design. And even though we were trying to push and push and push for the development to happen, it just never did. So at that point, that was the end of 23, and we had like no hopes for this. Like, it was just, we had lost all the team, and It was just Derek and I trying to figure out what we were going to do. And you and I were working together at that time. And just out of happenstance, and I don't necessarily believe in coincidences, I ended up running into some folks who actually wanted to do this project, you being one of them. And so the team kind of started to mold, right? So we went from this initial idea of a freelance marketplace combined with a number of other different types of little marketplaces with some different unique ideas and different tool sets in there. And as we've kind of, as a team, grown and more ideas have come in and injected themselves, it diverted from that to becoming an ecosystem. And I think you being a project manager, me having IT experience, over the past 15 years, and the other teammates who have other experiences in our area, in other areas, we just realized that like the things that need to be done as an entrepreneur or for a business, those tool sets are just very scattered. And so what we realized was we could build a platform that allows people to like run an entrepreneurial idea from, the very beginning of ideation all the way through execution and operation in a single platform, right? Now, that's a lot to do. That's a massive undertaking because there's so many tools. There's CRMs and there's marketing efforts, and then, there's scheduling applications and there's point of sale services and things like that, that all these different types of companies have. So just diving right into that right off the bat is way too big of an undertaking, especially when you have zero budget. So that's when you guys came into play here. And that's when the team started to kind of narrow down what we were going to start building for just MVP. Like, what are the core things we really want to do? Um, so that started in 2024, like summer of 2024. Pulled the development team in that we managed to scrounge together and started to build this thing out. The initial product that we built was HyvFlow, and actually, you had a huge piece in that because of what you do on a day to day basis. So, I mean, had your inputs on that big time. You want to talk a little bit about that, like what you think about HyvFlow as where it stands?
Yeah, no, I love HyvFlow, but before we get into that, you were hitting on, everybody's kind of in this for the passion, but it's the vision that yourself and Derek brought to the team that we have now, to be able to bring that vision and sell that idea. I think that's what really gives us that motivation because we see the potential. There's so many broken products out there. There's so many times I have to log into 5 different apps and it's so frustrating. So I love being a part of the team. It's, great seeing how far we've come over the past year that I've been involved. But with HyvFlow being in the project management space for a long time, I love the flow of HyvFlow. How the Kanban board is broken out, how we have the Gantt chart in there. You can sort it by task, assigning the team members. You really can run any project from digital services to physical product on HyvFlow. And I love that. And, as we get into more of the ecosystem, I really can't wait to see when it ties in with the marketplace and, somebody buys a service and, once we have some updates, the eventual idea is that that service, when you purchase it, that goes into HyvFlow and it's built out. And, people will be able to see in real time, on a lot of these other marketplaces, you don't know where your project is. And with HyvFlow, you can kind of go in and you can see that Kanban board and you can see each milestone and where it's getting connected. And it's a really amazing piece. And I think people are going to love it.
The tie-in piece, I think, was the big one for us. Like, so everything that we've been doing, we look at it from this lens of where is the broken piece in the process, right? And so sometimes that's like, oh, well, I have to go from this app to that app, right? Or sometimes it's that I did something here and it should show up in another location for me to manage it. Or, maybe it didn't get referenced properly. There's all sorts of little gaps that we would find as we were doing these, process analysis as just in just daily things that we were doing, right? So you were saying tie-in. So one of the big things that we came up with was that we wanted all of the apps to integrate with all of the apps seamlessly, right? So that there are these built-in automations and processes and things like that. Because right now you can do that with other apps. Like, that's not a new concept. right? But the problem is that you have to build those automations up, right? So with what we're doing is we're simplifying the products and building those automations so that they scale across a plethora of different areas, so that when you do one thing in an app or in the ecosystem, it replicates itself appropriately to where it needs to be within the other pieces of the ecosystem. So, like you were just saying, the other application that we have is this marketplace, right? That was the one of the original ideas for the product itself. We kept that because one of the things we realized too is we can build applications and we can try to sell software and things like that to companies and maybe make money, do government contracts. There's all sorts of ways to do business. But one of the things that we realize is like, we want to start a business and it's difficult for us to start a business because there's so many steps. And the people that are in this team have started businesses before. It's not like we don't know how to do it. It's just, it's annoying to start one up, right? Like it's
Yeah,
not,
that beginning grind sucks.
yeah, the beginning grind of it just is awful. So the question was, is like, how could we build something that makes it super easy for you to like have an idea and then it's out there and go, right? And you can build it in one spot and it all kind of works. So that was the intent behind the marketplace, is to give freelancers a space to be able to build these things that they, or to be able to sell the services online that they do, right? So you look at other freelance marketplaces, and I won't mention them here, but the big ones, right? You look at that, and we, after doing some research, it was just, man, as a freelancer, it's tough to be one. Like you have these skill sets that are awesome, people need them, and then you go put yourself on these marketplaces, and then the marketplace takes a massive chunk of what you're doing. It's like it's almost like taxation, right? Like it's like
Yeah.
I did all this work and I'm giving all this away, and then I'm still taxed on top of the amount that I'm getting, right? And so what we were like is like, well, how do we make freelancing free? That was the question we were trying to answer. And so we figured that out through the ecosystem. It was, is instead of having this singular app where all you do is freelance stuff, because that then requires some sort of monetization somewhere, right? If I build this ecosystem out, then I can figure out how to essentially offset the amount that I would be taking from freelancers in other areas that were more reasonable and um, were a better choice to take money from, right? Things like subscriptions for tools and things of that nature. I'm not saying that's what our app does entirely, but things like that, right? You can kind of offset these expenses for the freelancers. So we did it. We built the application, and right now, at the time of this video, I don't think the marketplace is going to be out by the time this goes up because we're still refining some things, but it's going to be completely free. You can be a freelancer and hop on there, and there will be absolutely no expenses to you from our platform from you other than transfer fees for getting your money. That.
Yeah. No, and that's huge, but also, at the time of this video, when somebody logs on, we're looking to have this marketplace out within a few weeks after this official launch when this video is live. However, you can go and build your services. You can be ready for launch day. You can see how the marketplace looks. So it's not like there's a hidden, we're not hiding anything. When you get in and you log in, you're able to see the marketplace. You're able to put your services in. You just can't hit live yet. And once you upload that service and we go live, then you can actually, start marketing that. But I think that's one of the biggest things that I want to put out there is when you log in, you can start building out everything that you would need for what you're talking
Yeah, and honestly, when this goes live, the MVP will have launched at that point. Or I guess, yeah, whenever we decide to upload this, even with those services, they'll still be searchable. So the only piece that we're not putting out is the ability to actually do transfer of money on the platform right now, just because we have to figure out those processes, because we want to be able to protect both the freelancer and the client and us. And so those things have to be kind of tightened up. But you can create your service and it goes into a searchable marketplace where somebody can actually find your service and narrow things down. Right. So it's a really cool concept. And that kind of evolved because that's just services, right? So I'm a user. I come in, I log in, I've got stuff that I do, I build out packages, and I offer these things to the world, right? Well, then it was like, okay, well, on top of that, we should probably have profile system, right? Something that shows, who you are and why it is that somebody should be coming to you for these services. And so that's where the HyvSync application started coming to play. So you were a huge part of this again. Like you've been through this, you've been through the development of all of these things. So you know exactly what I'm talking about here, Chad. But the the HyvSync profile allows you to not only build in your services in the profile itself, but it allows you to like display things like your skill sets, the languages you can speak, your education level. You can do different projects. You can display different projects that you've worked on to show your credibility. One of the issues that we realized was like we didn't want to have an application where you don't have any reviews on your product. Well, now we can do things that allow people to do like a shout out towards you, right? So people that that you've worked with before can come and comment on your profile saying, "Hey, 5 out of 5 stars, man. This guy was freaking awesome. Like I loved working with him." So, now you have some credibility built there. And we take that into account that it's not a net verified purchase in our algorithms and stuff. But nonetheless, it still gives something on your profile for people to be able to say, "Oh, wow, that's pretty cool. You did this and this portfolio you did some things with. That's awesome." So it becomes a professional profile for you. And I think that that's really important because when you think about what it takes to start a business, well, you need a website, right? You need to display the things that you do. You need about me. You need to have some information on there about what your services you're providing are or what you're selling. And our platform does all of that and it's easy. Now, the thing we'll be working towards in the future on that is going to be the customization aspect of it. Because right now, if you want a fancy website, you can go someplace else and build a fancy website, do it through WordPress. With ours, you're using templates, but the intent is that down the line, not only will you be able to have templates that we've built that you can go ahead and use, but you can also customize them. So this becomes more of it molds itself into this extremely customizable, very easy to use, like business profile for you, right? And quite frankly, you don't have to be a business either. Like this is for people who just want a profile and they want to be on the platform. So because it integrates with all of these other applications like Flow and the marketplace, those two things exist within the profile. But when you get a profile, you also have another application that we're building into the system called Connect. And so Hive Connect is the messaging system. So now what we did is we layered on top of that an additional like social aspect that allows you to communicate with other people within the MindHyv ecosystem. So that's one of the key components that we're going to have because you need to be able to talk back and forth with your freelancer if you're a client. But now we can have users who are on the platform talking to each other, which creates a social connection there. And the chat application we're building is going to be pretty robust. So that's just another linkage there that we've built in.
No, I love the whole aspect of having chat in there, but also with HyvSync profile. You know, one of the biggest things when you go to other marketplaces and you try to utilize it, if you don't have reviews yet, usually it's hard for you to get that first client or person to purchase your service. That's where HyvSync comes in, because now you have a resume online in our platform where I can actually go and look and say, oh, okay, this person's done this and this, they have this background, and it's really huge. And then just that social aspect of being able to share and collaborate with like minds is going to be an amazing part of the platform. And then chatting, having people in that group, especially if you have a larger team, it becomes hard on, other softwares that do have chat, but being able to have communication with your team, somebody doing video editing, somebody's doing project management, and this just collaborates everybody together. And I think that this will really help push the overall ecosystem because everything is so connected well.
Yeah, and the other piece to this too is that as these different applications within the ecosystem are connected to each other, we can use the data that's in each one of these applications to do a ton of data correlation, right? And so the intent here was, okay, I build a profile, I have a marketplace, I have orders and stuff that I've been collecting and doing for people. I'm running them through project management software. All of these things can be used to information that helps every single user improve over time. because you'll be able to pull the analytics for yourself, right? And for other people. If you're a client and you want to know some information about a freelancer, well, there's going to be a plethora of metrics essentially that we can go ahead and pull from that allow people to be able to understand who they're buying from, what they should expect, based off of actual data that we've got. And so what that ends up doing is it helps to level kind of the playing field because now it becomes a performance based playing field, right? And so it's extremely important for users who are trying to build something like a business or, their freelancing, reputation to be able to understand like, okay, well, why didn't I get the bid on this particular project? Well, we won't tell you what the other person exactly did, right? But we can say, hey, based off of what we've seen here, here's some suggestions of where you could improve because this was a factor. And then you can improve on those things, right? So our platform helps you improve over time. And that's going to be across all of it. Project management, I can pull tons of metrics from project management. Profiles, I can pull tons of metrics from profiles and provide those as analytics to the user.
Yeah, that's what I love about the whole MindHyv ecosystem is just being so connected that without data we can't get better. And by being able to have all of that data and look back as a freelancer or service provider, I could say, I say 7 to 10 days I will be delivering this project, but I'm hitting 11 days and it's hurting my conversion rate. So I can work on that. And with analytics really is everything to try to be better and to become the better version of whatever you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing too, we're going to go into the next app now. We're not that next part of the ecosystem. It's not really part of the ecosystem. It's just a benefit that we're providing to people. We have another section of the ecosystem called HyvBlox. And essentially what we did there was we were like, okay, in our world, in the development world for applications and IT stuff, we always want to try to help out as much as possible. At least from our company perspective, the purpose of our company is to help people. And so we're like, okay, well, we'll take the code that we spent hours and hours and hours on and building whatever it is that we're showing on our application, and we'll take those pieces and we'll put them on this app, and you can go get them and you can use them in your own project, right? And this happens all over the place with the development world, but like it's just another thing that we're trying to do to help it along, right? To help people out. So you can go in there and grab the code, and we'll have AI in there to help you modify the code if you need to for whatever you're trying to do for your specific application. But that's HyvBlox. And so as we build this out, HyvBlox gets updated. And that's going to be something that we continue to do as much as possible, and keeping it as free as possible.
Yeah, with HyvBlox, I'm excited because, having those blocks of code, a lot of times, you build out, say, a website, but what you're building doesn't have the ability to take a credit card. Now you can go to HyvBlox, grab that credit card block, copy that code, add it to your website, and now you're able to take credit cards on your website. Those things, those small things that could really save time and kind of headache because, starting a business or doing certain things, you're not going to have all of the knowledge on the development side. Your piece might be, project management. So we're trying to make, like you said, so easy for the user and to give back because we were tired of getting ripped off by other companies when we were on our own ventures.
Yeah, absolutely. It's again, our full intent here is to make building businesses easier, make freelancing free for freelancers, and then building an application that anybody can use for pretty much any purpose. But if you want to make money, you can make money with it. And so that's going to transition to this piece that we have here, which is, I think, what I'm most excited about is this. It's the MindHyv referral system. And this was something that was a very, very late addition. And it came up because trying to monetize the platform so that we can actually pay for the continued development of this thing was actually kind of difficult. So originally the idea was we would be using something like a transfer of the cost to the client who's purchasing, right? So the client would have some sort of service fee that they pay, and that's what we're collecting on our end. It's free for the freelancer. They're just paying for the transfer fees. So it's as free as it possibly is going to get, right? That was good, but wasn't enough. And so what we realized is that we can do a subscription referral system. And I think the way we've designed this thing is pretty cool. So, like I said, anybody can get a free account and use the platform and all the features. There are limitations on it because we can't just have our servers going wild with everybody, but there are limitations on those free profiles, but it's not necessarily feature limitations. There may be some in the future, but as of right now, there's no feature limitations. You have access to all the features. What the subscriptions that we offer do is give you one, additional storage space. We're lumping in storage with that, right? And two, and this is at MVP and subject to change over time, right? But for the MVP, it gives you a different level of commission kickback for your referrals. And so what I mean by that is every single tier of the subscription has a different level of kickbacks you'll get. So the free tier, and we're being very generous with these. So the free tier is going to be 5%. We have a standard, premium, and elite tier. Standard starts at 15%, premium is 20%, elite is 25%. And what that means is when you have a subscription level, like let's say standard, where you're getting 15% back, you will get 15% back of all the subscriptions that you bring to the platform for as long as they are subscribed. So our referrals tag the person you're referring to you for the lifetime of them being on the platform, which is awesome. And that includes free accounts. So if I'm a user and I'm a free user and I'm referring out and I'm getting people, say at our standard tier level, I'm getting 5% of all of their subscriptions. Now, if I upgrade, then I'm going to get 15% of all the subscriptions that I make while I'm, from that point on. They are rate tag or what do we call them? We're rate stamped, I think is what we called it. So you're rate stamped. So you're rate stamped at the tier that you're at, meaning if I'm at standard, then everybody that I refer at standard while I'm a standard subscriber, I get 15% back. If I upgrade to premium, the ones that I made, the referrals I made while I was a standard user, stay at 15%, but all future referrals now are at the premium. So it's always the referral is always going to be at the rate that you're at once that person signs up. That's how that works. So, and it goes back down too. So if I'm a premium user or an elite user and I decide I want to downgrade to free, well, then now I'm capped at 5% for all of them, period, dot, the end, because it's going to be the highest of whatever tier you're at that you can get, and also the rate stamp. So you can really use this platform to make a ton of monthly recurring income because it's for the life of the time that the person is subscribing. So this not only brings users onto our platform, but it also generates income for those users.
So does that mean since I'm the marketing guy and I'll be editing this video, I'll put my referral link down below and
Yeah,
they can
yeah,
click that one?
absolutely. Yeah. Then you get all the subscriptions.
That's right.
I mean, so it's great because in the era of making content, right, and doing a ton of advertising, that's where we're at right now. Let's just be real. TikTok and YouTube and all these platforms where you're probably watching this video now. If you have made a video, or even if it's not even related to MindHyv, and you have your referral link in there, somebody clicks on it, it's a 90-day cookie. So that link puts a 90-day cookie on the other person's machine, and if they sign up within those 90 days, they are tagged to you. And even if they sign up as free and then later on get a subscription, you get the rate at what you were subscribed to at that time. You get that back for the subscription that they're currently at. So let's say that you're getting 5% back as a free user. You refer somebody, they subscribe initially at a standard tier subscription at, like, I think it was like $32.99, I think is what we're charging. You're going to get 5% of that back. But if they upgrade to an elite package, you're not getting 5% of the elite package. Right. And that's going to go across the board for all the subscriptions that happen on the platform as we add them, if we add them. So in reality, you could genuinely make it. You could make your mortgage payment very easily by doing referrals. And you can
No, and
also
I
pay
don't
for
know
your own subscription.
anybody out there. I don't know anybody out there that's doing a referral system like this. To have a free account and still be able to get paid monthly recurring revenue is just an amazing concept. And I hope that, you know, everybody that's watching this or everybody that joins sees that we really are trying to give back to our community.
Yeah, I've been asked several times, like, well, why are you giving such a high percentage back? Well, the answer is easy. The primary answer is we're not greedy. We're doing this because we want to build something that's awesome and huge and does a lot of things for a lot of people. But we're not greedy in terms of that. We know that we can sustain the things with the subscriptions that we're getting there. And we know that we can build in different things into the application that are beneficial to people down the line because those are already in the pipeline. But it also just makes sense, right? So like if I'm helping people make money and they're helping me make money, it works both ways. And anybody can do this. And like you said, I don't know another place that you can do a free subscription and just do referrals without going through some sort of crazy referral process. And also many of the referrals out there, most of them have a cap.
Yep.
There's zero
Yeah.
cap for us. We are just going to continue to pay you.
Yep, and we want to pay you because you're helping us build. I think this model is so much better than, jumping a ton of ad revenue when we can build a community. Speaking of our community, you can join our Discord link down below because we've built out a whole community. We want to be able to give back. If you help us build, so many times you see companies out there that you might refer your friend over to, but you don't get anything from it. But you're helping that company grow, and we don't want to follow that same route.
Yeah, I think when you join MindHyv and you start to see that income coming in, it's going to feel like you are actually part of this company. Like that's the intent here, right? And when we first started up, one of the things we came up with, we called it the awful process. Oh my goodness, I'm going to forget what it stands for. Matt came up with it. Basically, it was a feedback loop where the sole feedback and the primary focus was the user feedback, right? And the companies say it all the time, like, oh, focus on the users and what they want. Like, no, we really are genuinely we're trying to build this feedback system into the platform so that it's simple and easy to use and we can prioritize things that are actually beneficial to the community at large. So because many times, I mean, go pick an application you're on right now and tell me how you're going to go give feedback to the dev team. Is this a support email? It's a ticketing system of some sort. You don't know. We're not doing that. We're making it public. We're picking and choosing what is the priority based off of like community voting, things like that. That's what we want to do. So
And real-time tracking, once you put that in and you can see how it's been voted on and when it's in progress and, see that whole system instead of giving feedback and, maybe one day, 2 years down the line, after enough people complain, it actually happens.
exactly. Yeah. And so I think the referral system just brings you into the MindHyv team, even though you're not necessarily working for the company, right? Or in the company, you're part of the team because you're helping build the community in that way. So in multiple ways. So I'm super excited for that, man. Like it's probably one of the coolest things we're doing. And I think that with this in mind, as we move forward with these other features that we have, which we're not talking about on this one because I don't want to spoil the fun, but once those other things come in, we're trying to focus on ability to do something efficiently, effectively, help you build, if you want personal business, whatever, helping you build that and also have multiple avenues for you to be able to make income. So
Yeah. No, I'm really excited about it. It seemed like when I look back, this year's been short, but also when I look back, there's been times that I'm like, holy cow, this month hasn't gone by yet. Like, what's going on? Because we're just grinding so hard. But I feel like we're at the proverbial finish line, start line, because we're gonna, launch MVP, which is kind of like a finish line, but that's just the start. We're gonna keep building updates that you guys need, but also things that we see that we need inside of our own system and continuing to make it better.
yeah, it's been a ride for sure. And I think it's important to note this. Uh, this whole effort is being done by 6 people. And that includes the marketing efforts that you're doing, that's the website design, that's all of the financial stuff, the legal stuff, it's the development. Holy cow. Our developer is a monster. And so it's all being done with just a very, very small group of individuals trying to tackle this like massive endeavor, but that'll grow over time. And I think that this is a really good first step to get it out the door. And I think it's going to be very valuable right off the bat and then in the future for sure.
Yeah, and if you were talking about our developer who's been working so hard. If Red Bull or Monster, if you guys want to sponsor him and send him a case, we'll hook you up with his info because he needs more caffeine.
All right, absolutely. Yeah. Please, if you, I don't know if we can do legal monster IVs, but that's what he needs at this point. Yeah, he's crushing it, man. And it's not even just like Monday through Friday. I mean, we're all working the weekends. Every single person on the team also has like 9 to 5 jobs. So not only are we doing regular jobs, but it's also, after work, we're meeting like this and having, hour, 2 hour, 3 hour long meetings, and then working on top of that. Like it's been an effort, and I think that the fact that we've been doing that, we understand the the level of effort that it takes to get something like this going, like a business, a dream, something that you're trying to do up and running. And that's why we're starting this, because we want to make sure that people can do these kinds of things quicker. And be able to bring in income and support their families, and have some beer money or whatever it is that they want to do, right? Like,
Yeah, be able to have those quick wins to keep you motivated. Because when you're a freelancer or you're doing business or you're doing project management, you need those quick wins to keep you motivated. Because we know what it's like, especially if you're not doing it without a team. We have a team, so as one person starts to get burned out a little bit, we have somebody to come back them up. Some people are building these dreams on their own, so we want to make it that much easier for them.
yeah, and we did a lot of research before starting this, right? One of the biggest issues that freelancers have is the ability to maintain consistent levels of work, right? And so that was one of the things that we've been trying to tackle. And we have some ideas that we're going to be adding to our marketplace that help with that, right? From a freelancing perspective. But the referral system we've built in, if you've got referral coming in every month, right? And yeah, there's churn rates and things like that, but at least that's a thing you can work on in addition to being able to get, other work through our platform. So there's another stream of revenue that you can add to the repertoire that you have, and keep you going. And so it's not such a burden or an anxiety ridden kind of month if you're not snagging a bunch of freelance jobs. So, and we're working on fixing that problem too. Right. So yeah, man, I'm super stoked. Like, this is gonna be awesome. And like, you guys have done an amazing job. Like, you with the marketing and the developers, everybody's done a fantastic job getting this thing off the ground. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it's an amazing team. I'm looking forward to it, and I really do. I think everybody that's in a project like this has high expectations, but when you see our team, there's nothing but high expectations because everybody is such a rock star at what they do. So I can't wait to see the fruits of all of this, and I hope that people are able to utilize the system in the way that we have built it.
Yeah, I think it's be great. The other piece of this too, and this is just because I want people to understand what kind of company they're working with here, right? The people that are in this company. Like, we do these podcasts and we're kind of maybe a little bit more professional and watch our mouths and how we talk, right? But the amount of fun that we have doing this as a group is awesome. And honestly, if you guys want to follow us on TikTok or YouTube and all that, you'll see the kind of goofiness that kind of goes on, because a lot of the shorts you put together, and the things that I've done to, make content. Like, it's not necessarily just like this. It's much more personable. So I think that it's going to be fun to watch how the company culture grows and how the community culture grows. And we're going to kind of just let it do its thing, because I'm not interested in being some stuck up kind of business person here. I want to have fun while I'm doing this job, and making it fun for other people too.
Yeah, and I was talking about the Discord earlier, but on our launch day, which I think this video probably go on out on the same day. So depending on when you watch it, you might not be able to join the first kind of AMA MVP kickoff, but we plan to do those monthly. And there's not many companies out there that are going to do an AMA with founders, with the people that are grinding and answer questions. We can walk through the system. We'll just play it by ear, and it could just be a conversation with the community. It could be going over things that we might be doing. It might be inside exclusives. So, join that Discord, ask us questions, and keep us active.
Yep, absolutely. And go find us on TikTok and all these other social medias. We've got at MindHyv for all the other social medias. And then Chad and I both have TikTok that'll be MindHyv focused. So I'll be putting updates out there. He's going to be putting updates out there and different videos talking about different things. So follow us and be a part of the building process as we do this. So and definitely like and subscribe to this channel for YouTube. It helps us out and also gives us the ability to kind of engage with the community at large. So yeah, man.
We'll try to keep the updates more than every couple months. We won't go on any more vacations.
No vacation for the rest of the team for the rest of the year. So
yeah, except for me.
To work. Go. No, we're looking forward to it. So, is there anything else we need to cover in this, man? Like,
No, I think we hit everything. I know it was a long one, but we really felt we wanted to go through the whole system to make sure that people know what's been going on for the past 2 months. And, that nightmare word that I have in my head and have nightmares about, scope creep, is something that we do well, but it's usually very needed. So no, I'm excited.
Yeah, me too, man. And there's a lot more coming down the pike too. Like we've got a ton of features and a ton of ideas that are not being released with MVP. And it's not because we don't want to, it's because there's a lot to this whole system that we're trying to implement. So we appreciate you guys' support. Go grab an account at mindhyv.com. That's MINDHYV, like I have on my hat and on Chad's hat, and get a free account, get a subscribed account, go do some referrals, make some money, and give us feedback because we're excited to hear it. Even if it's not good, if it's stuff you want to see on the app, let us know. Compliments are appreciated too, though.
Yeah, we do like at least a little candy before you hit us in the face.
Yeah. Like Drew's super handsome. I'd love to hear that at least once in my life. So
yeah, that's probably not going to happen.
That's not going to happen. No. So, all right, man. Well, let's wrap this one up.
Awesome. Sounds good. There goes the outro.
Do the outro.
It's going.
See you guys later. Oh, good. Later, man.
Later.